C.P. Mittal Award, the prestigious oral presentation of ISPAGAN, goes to Dr. Sugi Subramaniam from Dr. Rela Institute and Medical Center, Chennai, for his work on myopenia in impaired performance status affects outcome of children undergoing living donor liver transplantation. Let's go to his talk and listen what happens with myopenia and how it's affecting the outcome.
My topic is myopenia and impaired performance status affect outcomes of children undergoing living donor liver transplant. There are no conflicts of interest or disclosures. Pediatric liver transplant basically has an excellent early outcome and long-term survival. So the recent interest has moved on from focusing on surgical techniques and early outcomes rather than focusing on complications arising from long-term immunosuppression and the child's pre-transplant status. Early mortality after pediatric liver transplant ranges somewhere between 5 to 20%. The risk factor for early mortality includes a delayed referral, poor preoperative condition, infections, and deterioration prior to transplant. So the living donor liver transplant minimizes this waiting list mortality. So the recent research topic is to identify the high-risk child, and this has become an absolute necessity. A brief note on sarcopenia and frailty. Sarcopenia and frailty are discussed more in terms with the elderly population, but the recent interest has started focusing on the pediatric population. In literature, sarcopenia and frailty are being used to predict outcomes in adults undergoing major surgery, including a solid organ transplantation, whereas studies on pediatric transplant are very less, and the assessment of both these factors are much more complicated in children than in adults. So the recent studies started investigating the feasibility of developing nomograms based on CT-based myopenia assessment based on age and gender. And the functional assessment is much more complicated in children because of the varying physical abilities that comes with the age. And the already available scores which are used for adults cannot be extrapolated to children. And recently, the Lansky's play performance score has been developed, which has been used extensively in a pediatric oncology setting. So there has been an interest to extrapolate this scoring system to outcomes in children undergoing living donor liver transplant. This study by Dr. Perito et al. Published in American Journal of Transplant is a similar study where the functional status of the child at the time of listing predicts the waitlist mortality as well as the 1 year post-transplant mortality. But this study was a retrospective study done over a period of 10 years from 2006 to 2016. Coming to the conceptual model of childhood sarcopenia, actually malnutrition and sarcopenia together form a vicious cycle in which the overall outcome is impaired growth, increased vulnerability to diseases, nutrient deficiency, and delayed motor skills. All of these have a negative impact on the child's health, especially the ones undergoing a major surgery like living donor liver transplant. The pediatric sarcopenia has been studied only in the last 1 decade. So sarcopenia is found to be in almost 23% of children with end-stage liver disease, whereas sarcopenia is found in 40% of children with chronic liver disease, of whom 40% of children continue to have sarcopenia even after getting a liver transplant, and this affects their overall survival and the long-term outcome. Till date, there has been no study which looked at the impact of preoperative sarcopenia or myopenia on the outcomes. So a study was to assess the impact of preoperative myopenia and frailty on the early outcomes after transplant and to establish CT-based psoas muscle cross-sectional area measurement as an effective subjective tool for pediatric myopenia. So this study was done between children with the age of 6 months to 10 years between November 2018 and 2020, and they were followed for at least 3 months and the data were collected. And the pre-transplant assessment of the performance status was done using Lansky score and functional status score, whereas the myopenia was assessed by measuring the psoas muscle cross-sectional area at the lower border of L3 on the plain CT cuts. These plain CT films were a part of the routine CT planning done in all kids undergoing transplant, so there was no additional burden of any investigation. Bilateral psoas muscle cross-section area was measured and the average was taken. And the Z score was calculated by comparing the age-matched cohorts. And the impaired status was assessed using Lansky's and functional score at least within 4 weeks prior to the transplant, so that there was no change in the data collected at the time of evaluation to the original value at the time of transplant. And the impaired performance score was categorized as mild when the Lansky score was between 80 to 100, moderate when it was 50 to 70, and severe when it was 10 to 40. Totally 101 transplants were done. In the unit, 19 were excluded. Reasons were age less than 6 months, more than 10 years, DDLT in 2 cases, LDLT for acute liver failure in 3, and preoperative CT was not available in 3. Biliary atresia was the most common indication. Median age was 14 months and weight was 8.1 kgs. The median PEL score was 18. 3 children were on organ support at the time of transplant. 44% of the kids had a Z score less than -2, suggestive of significant myopenia. And 22% of the kids had moderate impaired performance score, and 20% had severe impaired performance score. 7 children underwent elective LDLT, while 3 had LDLT for acute decompensation. Median duration of post-op ventilation was 1 day and ICU stay was 5 days. 11 kids needed reoperation. Almost 33% developed a major complication as defined by Clavien Tinto more than grade 2. 19 kids developed at least 1 organ failure in the perioperative period, of which 6 kids succumbed, giving a 3-month survival of 92.7%. And the cause for mortality in all these kids was sepsis with multi-organ failure. And after a median follow-up of 417 days, there were 2 additional mortalities, giving an overall survival of 90%. So 36 children had a Z score less than -2, suggestive of significant myopenia, of which the Z score and the incidence of myopenia was not significantly different between biliary atresia, the most common etiology, and other etiologies. 48 children had mild impaired performance score, whereas 18 and 16 had moderate and severe impaired. When we studied the preoperative predictors of major morbidity, prolonged ventilation, prolonged ICU stay, and survival, on multivariate analysis, only the Z score was an independent predictor of major morbidity and prolonged ICU stay. On Cox regression analysis, we found that only moderate and severe impaired performance score was the only independent predictor of survival. So the Kaplan-Meier curves demonstrating the impact of pre-transplant impaired performance score as assessed by the Lansky score on the survival after LDLT. According to this curve, the post-transplant survival was 98% in children with mild impaired status, whereas it was 84% in moderate impaired status and 76% in severe impaired status. Whereas the survival was not different between children with or without sarcopenia based on the Z score. So this was an extensive study including all the major indications for pediatric liver transplant. And as I already mentioned, the gap between the assessment and surgery was only 4 weeks. And this was one of the first study to do the interrelation between pre-transplant sarcopenia or myopenia and the impaired status. Limitations are a single study, a limited sample size, and psoas measurements were not standardized for height for this data, and only muscle mass was studied and not muscle function. That's why we preferred using the term myopenia instead of sarcopenia. And the functional scores used have not been validated for use in children with liver disease elsewhere. So to conclude, the Z score was an independent predictor of major morbidity and prolonged ICU stay, and the pre-transplant impaired performance score alone was an independent predictor of survival. So I'd like to conclude my presentation by saying it's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Thank you.